Admiral James Walker stood at the massive window of Earth's orbital defense station, his weathered face reflecting off the reinforced glass as he watched the approaching alien fleet. The ships of the Galactic Council gleamed like jewels against the darkness of space, their sleek designs a stark contrast to the sturdy, practical vessels of Earth's defense force. 10 years had passed since humanity's first contact with the Council. They had arrived with promises of advancement, technology, and protection. Earth had been eager to join the galactic community, and the Council had seemed so benevolent, so wise. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the Council flagship," Lieutenant Rogers reported from his station, his voice steady despite the tension in the air. The massive control room hummed with activity as crew members monitored their screens, tracking every movement of the alien vessels. Walker nodded, his gray eyes narrowing. Something felt wrong. The Council ships had arrived unannounced, and their formation, it wasn't the usual diplomatic arrangement they typically used. "Put them through," he ordered, turning to face the main view screen. The image that appeared showed High Counselor Dren, his crystalline features arranged in what humans had learned to recognize as a smile. But today, that smile seemed different. Colder. "Admiral Walker," Dren's translated voice filled the room. "We bring news from the Council. Earth's probationary period is complete." Walker's heart lifted for a moment. This was what they had been waiting for, full membership in the Galactic Council, access to their advanced technology, and true partnership with the spacefaring races. But Dren's next words shattered that hope. "After careful deliberation, the Council has determined that humanity is too aggressive, too unpredictable to join our ranks. Your species' rapid military advancement during the probationary period has confirmed our worst fears. We cannot risk another warrior race destabilizing the peace we have maintained for millennia." Walker's blood ran cold. "What are you saying, Counselor?" "For the greater good of the galaxy, Earth will be quarantined. A containment field will be established around your solar system. Any attempt to break through will be met with immediate force." The betrayal struck Walker like a physical blow. Earth had trusted them, had shared resources, had allowed Council observers into their military installations. They had followed every regulation, every rule. "You can't do this," Walker growled. "We have rights under the Provisional Membership Treaty." Dren's crystalline features hardened. "The treaty is void. You have 1 hour to recall all Earth vessels to their home system before the containment field is activated. Any ships left outside will be dealt with." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the control room in stunned silence. Walker's hands clenched into fists as he turned back to the window. His mind raced through options, through the secret preparations Earth had made, preparations the Council knew nothing about. They thought they were caging a primitive species, but humanity had learned from history. They had planned for betrayal, even as they hoped it would never come. "Send the Phoenix Protocol signal," Walker ordered, his voice low and determined. "And get me the President." The Council just made the biggest mistake in their 1,000-year history. As the crew rushed to comply, Walker allowed himself a grim smile. The Council thought they knew humanity's military capabilities, but they had only seen what Earth had wanted them to see. Deep in the asteroid belt, hidden in plain sight, the real fleet waited, ships built with a combination of human ingenuity and reversed-engineered Council technology. The Council had just started a war they weren't prepared to fight. And humanity would make them regret it. Deep within the asteroid belt, inside a hollowed-out space rock that appeared abandoned on Council scans, Captain Mary Thompson stood in the command center of humanity's true fleet. Around her, dozens of advanced warships sat in their underground hangars, their black stealth coating absorbing what little light reached them. Phoenix Protocol received and authenticated, her second-in-command, Robert Mason, announced. The emergency lights cast a red glow across his determined face. "All ships reporting ready status." Thompson nodded, remembering the day she'd been chosen to lead this secret force. While the Council watched Earth's official military exercises, the best pilots and crew members had quietly disappeared, reassigned to this hidden fleet under the cover of mining operations. "Begin power-up sequence," she ordered. "Activate stealth systems." The massive cavern hummed to life as 20 ships, each more advanced than anything the Council had seen from Earth, prepared for launch. They were the product of 10 years of reverse engineering, combined with humanity's unique approach to warfare. While the Council's ships relied on shields and energy weapons, these vessels carried experimental phase shift technology that could temporarily slip them between dimensions. Back at Earth's orbital station, Admiral Walker was meeting with the Emergency Defense Council via secure hologram. The President's avatar stood at the center of the group, her expression grim. "The containment field will be active in 40 minutes, Walker reported. "But our deep space sensors have detected Council ships moving to cut off all our major trade routes. They planned this carefully. Then it's time to show them what humanity can do when backed into a corner," the President replied. "Initiate Operation Shadow Strike. Captain Thompson has her orders." In the asteroid belt, Thompson's fleet was ready. Each ship carried a crew chosen not just for their skills, but for their ability to think creatively in combat. The Council's military doctrine was rigid, predictable. They hadn't fought a real war in centuries, relying instead on overwhelming force to maintain order. "All hands, battle stations," Thompson's voice echoed through the ships. "Today we show the galaxy why you don't betray humanity." The fleet rose from their hidden base, their dark hulls blending perfectly with the asteroid field. Council sensors would register them as nothing more than routine mining activity, until it was too late. "First target confirmed," Mason reported. "Council containment ship at Sector 7. They're preparing to generate their part of the barrier." Thompson allowed herself a small smile. "Let's introduce ourselves. All ships, initiate phase shift on my mark." The Council vessel never saw them coming. One moment, their sensors showed only empty space. The next, 5 Earth ships materialized inside their defensive perimeter. Before the Council crew could react, precision strikes disabled their engines and weapons. "Channel open," Communications Officer Peters announced. "Council vessel," Thompson's voice was cold as space itself. "Your containment field technology is now property of Earth. Surrender, and you'll be treated according to the laws of war, the same laws you claim to uphold." The Council ship's captain appeared on screen, his crystalline features showing what humans had learned to recognize as shock. "Impossible. Your technology level is not what you thought," Thompson finished. "Signal the rest of your containment fleet. Tell them what happened here. Tell them that humanity is done playing by your rules." As the captured Council ship transmitted its surrender, Thompson turned to her tactical display. 19 more containment ships were spread around Earth's solar system, each one about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity. The real war was about to begin, and Earth's hidden fleet was ready to show the galaxy exactly what humanity could do when betrayed. The Council's 1,000-year peace was about to be shattered by the very species they had tried to cage. High Counselor Dren stood in the emergency chamber of the Galactic Council Central Station, watching in disbelief as reports flooded in from Earth's solar system. The massive holographic display showed 19 red warning signals where their containment ships should have been. "Impossible," one of the Council members whispered, their crystalline form flickering with anxiety. "They were supposed to be primitive. Controlled." 17 containment ships disabled, another Council member reported, their translated voice trembling. 2 destroyed when they attempted to activate their barrier generators. No survivors from those vessels. Dren's outer shell crackled with stress. The humans had hidden their true capabilities, had fooled the entire Council for years. But how? Their observers had been thorough, their spies placed in every major Earth facility. "Deploy the defense fleet," he ordered. All of it. Back in Earth's solar system, Admiral Walker watched from the orbital station as Captain Thompson's ships systematically dismantled the Council's containment forces. Each disabled vessel provided more technology, more data for Earth's engineers to analyze. "Sir," Lieutenant Rogers called out, "we're detecting massive hyperspace signatures approaching. The Council is sending their main fleet." Walker smiled. "Right on schedule. Captain Thompson, are you receiving this?" "Confirmed, Admiral," Thompson's voice came through clear and confident. "Phase 2 is ready. Permission to execute?" "Granted. Show them what else we've been hiding." Throughout the asteroid belt, hundreds of hidden hangar doors opened. Not 20 ships now, but 200. Earth had been building this fleet since the day the Council first arrived, spreading their construction facilities throughout the solar system's vast asteroid fields. The Council's main fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, over 300 ships arranged in their traditional combat pattern. A pattern that hadn't changed in centuries because no one had dared to challenge them. "Council vessels," Thompson's voice broadcast across all frequencies. "Your containment fleet has been neutralized. Withdraw now, or face the consequences." The Council fleet responded with a barrage of energy weapons, their beams slicing through space where Thompson's ships had been moments before. But the human vessels had already shifted phases, becoming ghost-like shadows that the energy passed through harmlessly. "They never learn," Thompson muttered. "All ships, execute combat pattern Delta. Show them how humans wage war." The Earth fleet split into smaller groups, each one operating independently but coordinating perfectly. While the Council fleet maintained their rigid formation, human ships darted between their lines, striking from impossible angles, disappearing before the Council could respond. In the Council emergency chamber, Dren watched in horror as his fleet's neat formation dissolved into chaos. Centuries of peace had left them unprepared for an enemy that didn't follow their rules of engagement. "How are they predicting our movements?" one Council member demanded. "Our combat algorithms are perfect." "They're not predicting," another realized, "their crystal form paling. They're adapting. Every ship is fighting differently. There's no pattern to break because they're not using one." On her flagship, Thompson directed the battle with cold efficiency. The Council's ships were powerful but predictable. Their crews were trained to follow protocols, not to think independently in combat. "Target their command ships," she ordered. "Let's see how well they fight without their precious hierarchy telling them what to do." The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. Council ships, each one far larger and more powerful than their human counterparts, found themselves outmaneuvered and outsmarted at every turn. Their rigid tactics crumbled in the face of humanity's adaptability and creativity. As Dren watched his fleet falling into disarray, he finally understood the Council's fatal mistake. They had tried to cage a species that had spent its entire history fighting, adapting, and overcoming stronger opponents. The age of the Council's unchallenged dominance was over. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they were demanding answers for the Council's betrayal. News of humanity's victory spread through the galaxy like a shockwave. On thousands of worlds, beings of all species gathered around information terminals, watching footage of Earth's hidden fleet decimating the Council's forces. The Council's military, undefeated for a millennium, had been humbled by a species they had dismissed as primitive. Admiral Walker stood on the bridge of the captured Council flagship, now repurposed as Earth's mobile command center. The massive ship's crystalline corridors had been modified with human technology, its systems reprogrammed to respond to human control. "Sir," Lieutenant Rogers reported, "we're receiving transmissions from 17 different species. They're all requesting direct communication with Earth's leadership." Walker nodded. Just as they had predicted, the Council's defeat had shattered their image of invincibility. Other species, long suppressed under Council guidance, were seeing an opportunity. In the Galactic Council's emergency chamber, the situation was deteriorating rapidly. High Counselor Dren faced a barrage of accusations from representatives of member species. "You assured us humans were contained," the representative of the Meridian world shouted, their holographic form flickering with rage. "Now they have our most advanced military technology. The Council's judgment can no longer be trusted," another member declared. "This catastrophic failure demands immediate changes in leadership." Dren's crystalline form had lost its luster, dulled by stress and fear. "We must unite against this threat. Humanity will not stop at defending their system. They will seek revenge for our attempted containment." Back on the captured flagship, Captain Thompson joined Admiral Walker for a strategic meeting. The holographic display showed the positions of Earth's fleet, now spread throughout the solar system in a defensive formation. "The Council's member species are turning against each other," Thompson reported. "Our intelligence suggests at least 5 major species are preparing to break away from Council control." Walker studied the tactical display. "Just as we hoped. The Council maintained power through fear and the illusion of superiority. We've shattered both." He turned to face Thompson. "Begin Phase 3. Throughout the galaxy, Earth's message began broadcasting on all frequencies, in all known languages. To all species under Council rule, we are humanity. The Council attempted to imprison us in our own solar system, fearing our potential. We resisted. We proved their fear was justified. But we do not seek dominion over others, as they do. We seek justice. We seek reform. We seek allies who share our vision of a galaxy where no species can imprison another out of fear." The message sent shockwaves through galactic society. In the Centauri sector, the ancient trading species who had long chafed under Council restrictions began mobilizing their fleets. In the Outer Rim, colonies that had been denied technological advancement by Council decree started reaching out to Earth's representatives. On his flagship, Walker received the first response from the Meridian worlds. Their leader's holographic form appeared before him, alien but conveying clear determination. "Earth's victory has shown us the Council's true nature," the Meridian leader declared. "We offer our support in your campaign for justice. Our shipyards are at your disposal." Similar messages arrived from across the galaxy. Species that had suffered under Council rule for centuries saw an opportunity for change. The Council's perfect order was crumbling, replaced by something new and uncertain. In the asteroid belt, Earth's engineers were already incorporating captured Council technology into new ship designs. But unlike the Council, humanity freely shared these advances with their new allies. Trust, they had learned, was earned through actions, not demands. The galaxy was changing. The Council's betrayal of Earth had started a revolution they could never have predicted. And humanity, the species they had tried to cage, was leading it. The combined fleet was a sight unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Human phase-shift vessels flew alongside the crystalline ships of the Meridian worlds, while massive trading vessels from the Centauri sector had been converted into carriers. In the span of 1 month, the rebellion against the Council had grown from Earth's solitary stand to a coordinated force of 7 species. Admiral Walker watched from the command deck as the latest additions to their fleet arrived through hyperspace. The Outer Rim colonies had contributed their specialized mining ships, now retrofitted with weapons developed through the combination of human ingenuity and alien technology. Battle group formation complete, Captain Thompson reported through the Neural Link communication system, a gift from their Meridian allies. "The Council's forces are holding position at the Arcturus checkpoint. They're still fighting like it's the old days," Walker observed. The tactical display showed the Council fleet arranged in their traditional defensive pattern, protecting one of their major supply routes. They haven't adapted at all. In the Council's fortified stronghold on Arcturus Station, the remaining loyal members of the Council watched the approaching Allied fleet with growing dread. Their perfect order. was collapsing around them, and still they clung to their old ways. "Launch the automated defense platforms," High Counselor Dren commanded. "Full spread. They cannot be everywhere at once." But humanity had taught their allies new ways of thinking. As the Council's defensive platforms emerged from hidden hangars, the Allied fleet split into smaller, independent groups, just as Earth's ships had done in their first victory. "All ships, execute Battle Plan Phoenix," Walker's orders went out across the neural network. "Show them what we can do together." The battle that followed demonstrated why the Council had been right to fear humanity, but wrong to try to contain them. Human phase shift technology combined with Meridian crystal tech created ships that could become both intangible and invisible. The Centauri's trading knowledge had identified every weakness in the Council's supply lines. The Outer Rim colonists' mining expertise let them disable enemy ships without destroying them. "Enemy platforms targeting our left flank," Thompson reported from her position leading the strike force. "Let them come," Walker replied. "Execute Protocol Omega." As the Council's platforms launched their attack, the human ships shifted out of phase. The energy weapons passed harmlessly through them, and struck the Council's own ships on the other side. In their rigid adherence to traditional tactics, they had positioned their fleet directly behind their automated defenses. In the Council chamber, Dren watched in horror as his forces fell into chaos. How are they coordinating so effectively? Different species shouldn't be able to work together like this. But that was exactly what humanity had brought to the galaxy, the ability to adapt, to combine different strengths, to think beyond established patterns. Each species in the Alliance contributed unique abilities, and humanity's experience with warfare helped them use these abilities in ways the Council had never imagined. "Council forces are retreating," Thompson announced. "Arcturus checkpoint is ours." Walker nodded in satisfaction. "Begin Phase 2 of the operation. Download everything from their databases. Let's see what other secrets they've been keeping from the galaxy." As Allied ships secured the checkpoint, teams of human and alien engineers worked together to crack the Council's secure archives. Each discovery revealed more of the Council's thousand-year deception, technology they had suppressed, species they had held back, knowledge they had hoarded. "Sir," Lieutenant Rogers called out, "you need to see this. We found files about Earth, from before their first contact with us." Walker's eyes narrowed as he reviewed the data. The Council's betrayal, it seemed, went far deeper than anyone had suspected. And soon, the whole galaxy would know the truth. Admiral Walker's hands trembled as he read through the classified Council files. Around him, the command center of Arcturus Station had fallen silent as both humans and aliens processed the shocking truth they discovered. "They knew about us for thousands of years," he said, his voice barely containing his rage. "Earth wasn't a recent discovery. We were an experiment." The files told a story that changed everything. 10,000 years ago, the Council had found Earth during their first expansion into the galaxy. But instead of making contact, they had chosen to watch, to study, to manipulate from the shadows. Captain Thompson, standing beside him, pointed to another section of the data. "Look at this. They secretly interfered with our development. The Dark Ages, the sudden leaps in technology, the mysterious setbacks, it was all them. Not just Earth," added the Meridian representative, their crystalline form pulsing with anger. "These files show they did the same to all of us. Each species was guided, controlled, shaped to fit their vision of a perfect galactic order. The Council's true nature was finally exposed. They weren't guardians of peace, they were manipulators who had engineered the development of every known species, creating a galaxy they could easily control." In the Council's last stronghold, High Counselor Dren received news of the data breach. His crystalline form had grown jagged with stress, cracking at the edges. "Initiate Protocol 0, he ordered. "Destroy everything. They cannot learn the final truth." But the Council's tight control had finally become their weakness. Their automated systems, their secure networks, their secret protocols, all had been designed to resist traditional attacks. They had never imagined their technology would be turned against them by the very species they had tried to shape. "Sir," Lieutenant Rogers called out urgently, "we're detecting massive energy signatures from the Council's core worlds. They're activating something big." Walker turned to the tactical display, watching as strange readings appeared across Council space. "Match these energy patterns against the historical data we just found," he ordered. The computer's response was immediate and chilling. The patterns matched energy anomalies recorded on Earth during major historical events, the fall of ancient civilizations, the mysterious collapses of advanced cultures, the inexplicable losses of knowledge. "It's their reset protocol," the Centauri representative realized, their multiple eyes widening in horror. "When a species develops too far, too fast, they use this technology to force them back to a primitive state. They've done it before, to all of us." Walker's decision was instant. "All ships, battle stations. Captain Thompson, deploy the fleet. We're not letting them reset anyone ever again." Throughout Allied space, the combined fleet mobilized. Human phase shift technology protected their ships from the Council's energy weapon. Meridian crystal tech tracked the source of the signals. Centauri ships carried special forces teams ready to strike at the Council's facilities. "Send this data to every world, every species," Walker commanded. "The Council's lies end today." Across the galaxy, the truth spread like wildfire. Species that had remained neutral now turned against the Council. Those still loyal to the Council found their populations demanding answers. The perfect order the Council had maintained for millennia crumbled in hours. But the Council had one last card to play. Deep in their most secure facility, Dren stood before an ancient device, the true source of their power. "If we cannot control them," he declared to his remaining loyal followers, "then perhaps it is time for another great silence. Let them all start again, from the beginning." As Dren reached for the device's controls, alarms blared throughout the facility. Human and Allied forces had arrived, and this time, they weren't just fighting for freedom. They were fighting to end the cycle of manipulation that had shaped galactic history for thousands of years. The final battle for the galaxy's future began not with massive fleet engagements, but with a desperate race against time. As Admiral Walker led the combined fleet toward the Council's secret facility, Captain Thompson's strike team had already infiltrated the ancient structure using phase shift technology. "We've breached the inner chambers," Thompson reported through the neural link. "But Dren is already at the control center. He's trying to activate the Great Silence device." Walker watched from the command ship as thousands of Allied vessels engaged the Council's last defensive fleet. The space around the facility blazed with weapons fire, but this time, the Council's forces fought with the fury of desperation. "All ships, execute attack pattern Delta," Walker commanded. "Clear a path for our ground teams. We have to reach that device." Inside the facility, Thompson and her mixed team of human and alien warriors fought through waves of automated defenses. The Council's ancient halls, pristine for millennia, now echoed with the sounds of battle. "You cannot stop what must be done." Dren's voice boomed through the facility's communication systems. "Order must be maintained. Progress must be controlled. Without us, chaos will consume the galaxy." Thompson's team reached the massive doors of the control center just as the facility shuddered. Above them, the combined fleet had broken through the Council's defenses. Human ships, using technology freely shared among allies, led the charge. "Sir," Lieutenant Rogers reported from the command ship, "we're detecting massive energy buildup. The device is powering up." Walker's voice was firm as he addressed all ships, "This ends now. All ships, concentrate fire on these coordinates. Burn through that facility's shields." Inside the control center, Thompson and her team finally confronted Dren. The High Counselor's crystalline form had grown massive, drawing power from the ancient device he was connected to. Behind him, a swirling vortex of energy began to form. "You primitive creatures," Dren's voice resonated through the chamber. "We gave you everything. We guided your evolution. We shaped your civilizations. Without us, you would still be savages." "No," Thompson replied, raising her phase shift weapon. "You didn't give us anything. You stole our right to grow, to learn, to become what we could be. You feared what we might become, so you kept us down. All of us." The device hummed louder, its power reaching critical levels. But Dren had made one final mistake. In his desperation to maintain control, he had forgotten the Council's greatest weakness, their inability to adapt, to think beyond their ancient protocols. Thompson's team split up, moving in patterns no Council security system could predict. Humans, Meridians, Centauri, and Outer Rim colonists, each using their unique abilities in ways the Council had never imagined possible. "Now!" Thompson ordered. As her team struck from multiple angles, the facility's shields finally collapsed under the combined fleet's assault. Through the breach, Walker witnessed the device's destruction, its carefully contained energies exploding outward, but contained by the very phase shift technology the Council had never expected humanity to develop. Dren's final scream echoed through the neural network as his physical form shattered, taking with it the last vestiges of the Council's power. Hours later, Walker stood before the assembled representatives of the allied species. The Council's facility, now under their control, had revealed its final secrets, libraries of suppressed knowledge, technologies held back from developing civilizations, the true history of the galaxy. "Today marks a new beginning," Walker addressed the gathering. "Not just for humanity, but for all species. The Council tried to contain us because they feared our potential. Now we'll show them what we can really achieve, not alone, but together." As the Allied ships departed, carrying their newfound knowledge back to their homeworlds, the galaxy entered a new age. The Council's betrayal had failed. Their attempt to cage humanity had instead unleashed a force for change they could never have predicted. And in the vast darkness of space, countless civilizations looked toward the future, not with fear of control, but with hope for what they could become.